Once upon a time, in the village of Umuzi, there lived a beautiful princess named Ebe. Her father, King Amodi, was the wise and kind ruler of the village. Everyone in Umuzi admired Ebe for her beauty, intelligence, and kindness. When Ebe turned 18, King Amodi decided it was time for her to marry. Many young men from the village came to the palace to ask for her hand. There was Juba, the strong hunter, Keto, the clever storyteller, and even Obi, the brave warrior. But Ebe rejected them all. "I do not love any of them," she told her father. "I will wait for the right man." King Amodi was patient and understood his daughter's feelings. However, as time passed, more and more suitors came, and Ebe continued to reject each one. The villagers began to whisper, wondering why Ebe would not choose any of their fine young men. One day, a mysterious stranger appeared at the palace. He was tall, with a deep voice and eyes that seemed to glow in the dark. He introduced himself as Chima. "I have come from far away to ask for Princess Ibe's hand in marriage," he said. Ebe was curious about Chima. He was different from all the other men she had met. Despite his strange appearance, she felt a strong connection with him. To everyone's surprise, she accepted his proposal. The very next day, Chima and Ebe were married in a grand ceremony. That night, Chima took Ebe to his home deep in the forest. As they walked deeper and deeper into the woods, Ebe began to feel uneasy. The trees were tall and twisted, and the moon cast eerie shadows on the ground. When they finally arrived at Chima's home, Ebe saw that it was an old, crumbling hut. As they stepped inside, Chima revealed his true form. He was not a man at all, but a ghost. Ebe was frightened and begged Chima to let her return to her village. But Chima, though a ghost, was kind-hearted. "I love you, Ebe," he said. "I will not harm you. You are free to leave whenever you wish, but know that I will always love you." Ebe was torn. She missed her family and her village, but she also felt a strange sympathy for Chima. She decided to stay for a while, hoping to understand him better. Days turned into weeks, and weeks into months. Ebe and Chima spent time together, and Ebe learned that Chima had been cursed long ago and needed true love to break the spell. She began to see the goodness in him and felt her heart soften. One day, Ebe decided she needed to visit her family and tell them the truth. She hoped they could help her find a way to lift Chima's curse. With Chima's blessing, she started her journey back to Umuzi. As Ebe approached the village, she wondered how her father and the villagers would react to her story. She knew they would be worried and possibly angry, but she was determined to find a way to save Chima and reunite with her family. Ebe arrived at the edge of Umuzi just as the sun was setting. The familiar sights and sounds of her village filled her with a mix of relief and anxiety. As she walked through the gates, the villagers gasped and gathered around her, whispering and pointing. "Princess Ebe has returned," they exclaimed. "Where has she been?" King Amodi rushed out of the palace, his face a mix of joy and concern. "My daughter, you have come back. Where have you been?" he asked, embracing her. Ebe took a deep breath and told her father everything about Chima and his curse. The villagers listened in shock and disbelief. Many were afraid, thinking Chima was a dangerous ghost, but Ebe pleaded with them to understand. Chima is kind and gentle, she said. He has been cursed, and only true love can break the spell. I need your help to save him. King Amodi, though skeptical, trusted his daughter's judgment. If what you say is true, we must find a way to lift this curse, he said. But we must also ensure the safety of our village. The village's wise elder, Nana, stepped forward. There is an old legend, he said, stroking his long white beard. It speaks of a powerful herb that grows on the peak of Mount Aikna. This herb, when combined with the tears of true love, can break any curse. Ib's eyes brightened with hope. Then I must go to Mount Aikna and find this herb, she declared. King Amodi insisted that Ebe should not go alone. He assigned Obi, the brave warrior, to accompany her. You must protect my daughter on this dangerous journey, he commanded. Ebe and Obi set out at dawn, their hearts full of determination. They traveled for days, crossing rivers and climbing steep hills. Along the way, they faced many challenges, wild animals, treacherous paths, and sudden storms. But with Obi's strength and Ib's courage, they pressed on. Finally, they reached the base of Mount Aikna. The peak was shrouded in mist, and the path was steep and rocky. As they began their ascent, Ebe felt a mixture of fear and excitement. She knew this was their only chance to save Chima. The climb was exhausting, but Ebe and Obi encouraged each other, never losing hope. When they finally reached the summit, they found a small, glowing herb growing among the rocks. Ebe carefully picked it, her heart racing with anticipation. Now we must return to the village, she said. But we need the tears of true love to complete the cure. Obi looked at Ebe with admiration. Your love for Chima is pure and strong, princess. I believe in you. They hurried back to Umuzi, where the villagers anxiously awaited their return. Ebe explained that she needed to see Chima one more time. With her father's blessing, she set off into the forest with Obi by her side. As they reached the crumbling hut, Chima appeared, his ghostly form glowing softly in the moonlight. Ebe, you have returned, he said, his voice filled with emotion. Ebe held out the herb. Chima, we can break your curse, she said, tears welling up in her eyes. But I need to cry tears of true love. Chima looked deeply into Ib's eyes. You have shown me what love truly means, he said. Your tears alone can lift this curse. Ebe closed her eyes and thought of all the moments she had shared with Chima, the kindness he had shown her, and the hope of a future together. Tears began to stream down her face, falling onto the herb in her hands. The herb glowed brighter and brighter until a brilliant light enveloped Chima. When the light faded, Chima stood before them, no longer a ghost but a handsome young man. The curse had been lifted. But their journey was not yet over. Ebe and Chima still needed to return to Umuzi and convince the villagers that the curse was broken for good.